Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another Gemini scale models video. Today's video we are going to start doing the second aircraft that was on the USS Saratoga when I was stationed on her, 1968, 1969. Anyhow, this plane is going to be the ra5c Vigilante. I had a special connection with that plane. Why do I have a special connection with that plane? Because I remember one incident with that plane. Now, being 18 years old, let me tell you something. I was really scared to do this. But anyhow, we always did what they call hot fuels. Hot fuel is when they park the plane certain area on the ship and you run over there and you hook up a hose and you start putting fuel into the aircraft. Now, the aircraft is running. Both engines are running. Yeah. And the fuel port happens to be right under the starboard engine. And so I used to stand there and put my hand up on the intake, and I could actually feel it sucking my hand in there. And then you turn around and you're looking straight into the nose of a missile. Yeah. But anyhow, let's get down to the bench and let's see what's in that box. So stay tuned and we will be right back. Bye. Alright guys, here we are down at the workbench now. This is a revelle kit. It's a ra5c Vigilante. It is a 1/72nd kit, and I believe, as I look here on the end panel, looks like it was made in 1988. So, let's see what it says on here. It says the 1/72nd scale U.S. Navy supersonic attack bomber. It carries high-tech surveillance gear, radar, and data systems. 2 J79 turbojet engines molded in gray authentic markings. So, let's take a look and see. Alrighty then. Now I went ahead and started reading some of this stuff. That's why you see the highlighting on there. It's just a couple of interesting things. Now, it said right there at the beginning that it was a supersonic bomber. But the forte of the Vigilante proved to be its conversion to a supersonic photo reconnaissance aircraft in the mid-60s. The Navy took this plane in 1960 and then converted it in the mid-60s to a supersonic surveillance aircraft. Its massive internal bomb bay that proved to be the source of a new role in the sleek Vigilante. In other words, they put all the camera gear and stuff into the bomb bay section of the aircraft. So, let's see what we got as far as instructions. Now, you can see that this paper is kind of old. And somebody had already been in this box because all the screws are cut apart. But let's see what we got here. Of course, they all start off doing the cockpit. Then after the cockpit's done, they join the two halves together. Now, I know in my last aircraft video, I showed you how I made seat belts. But I'm going to look and see if I can actually buy some seat belts for this, because I do notice that there are quite a bit of detail parts you can buy for some of this aircraft. Now, I don't know if this is one of them. But anyhow, it continues. After you get the cockpit done, you put the two halves together, put all the paraphernalia pieces on there. It doesn't look like it's very difficult to do. All the equipment that gets stowed under the wings, just like in the other one. Now, this is the interesting part right down here. You can see that it says reconnaissance pack, and then it says camera port, camera port, camera port, and another camera port there, and that gets mounted under the belly of the aircraft. So that is pretty cool. And color call out here: white, light gray, gunmetal, and black. 4 colors. And so I am going to start doing this kit. So stay tuned and we will be right back. Alright fellas, let's see what's in the box. Here's one fuselage half. And here's the others here. Like I said, these have already been cut off the sprue. So I'm hoping that all the parts are here. Anyhow, we're probably going to have a lot of sanding to do on this kit. Of course, there are a lot of pieces. If I can get this together, it might work. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, you can see I have a lot of seam to do on here. Come on, Vincent, get that together. There you go. There we go. But you can see that seam all the way down there, plus the sprue marks are on there. And same thing on the bottom. Wow, there's going to be a lot of work on this puppy. Alright. Anyhow, alright, let's see what else is in here. And we got a couple of the stuff that gets hung under the wings. I don't know what we call it. I guess the surveillance, reconnaissance equipment. Looks like an antenna right there. Don't know what those are. Alright. Now here's the bottom piece, the reconnaissance pod landing gear. This is going to be another one where I have to add weights. There's not too many parts in here, actually. The decals, I don't know, they're kind of like a little bit yellow, but maybe they'll work. USS Kitty Hawk, we're not going to put that on there. And I don't see just the number 603, maybe. Here is the squadron, RVAH-7. Alright. And then the wings, the front wings are 2 halves, top and bottom. I don't know what that is. I think that's part of the fuselage right there. What is this? Exhaust tips, intake. Here is the, I think this is part of the cockpit and front landing gear. Here's one seat. I thought, yeah, here's the other seat. So there's 2 seats, and I know I can get those seats also. And I did see, yeah, there they are. Did see a couple of pilots. So I don't know. I never painted anything that small. I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I might give it a shot. We'll see. Alright, so I guess we can start this by putting stuff together. I'm not going to put the pilots in there right now. And actually, before I do this, let me see if I can get seats and seat belts. So, stay tuned and we will be back shortly. Okay guys, before we go any further on this build, I want to make sure how much weight I need to get, because I know a lot of these aircraft that have this type of configuration of landing gear, that most of the time you don't need to add weight. So, I went ahead and I installed the wheels. This one's still loose. And permanently installed the wheels in the landing gear just to see how much weight I need. I gotta glue that again. I don't know why it's not. Anyhow, to my surprise, there is absolutely no weight in here. Look at that. It don't need any weight. These wings are just on here temporarily. They're not even put together yet. And I noticed there's going to be a lot of work to get this body to the fuselage to look good, because it is tweaked. No matter how hard I try, this right here this side is a lot higher than that side. The piece that fits in here doesn't fit. I got to sand it down to make it fit. So there's a lot of issues on this aircraft that I have to work on to get it right. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take this apart, and as you saw earlier, or if you didn't see earlier, I did install the floor slash landing gear bay in the fuselage on one side because I want to paint the inside before I go any further with this also. So with all that being said, stay tuned and let's see what we can get into here. Be right back. Okay guys, what you see in front of you now is basically all the main parts for this aircraft. Now the front wings, I like the Delta configuration on the wings. Anyhow, these are inserts that go in here and they fit really nice. There is a little seam there, but I don't know if I'll work on that or not. Then we have our body parts here, rear tail hook assembly. Then we got the rear horizontal stabilizers and then the vertical stabilizer here, jet exhaust here, and a bunch of small parts which are all the landing gear doors. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I was going to see if there was some sort of a kit for the cockpit. And lo and behold, there is a kit for the cockpit. My problem with it, it's $18, and you're really not going to see anything. Because the rear seat guy, all he's got is that little window right there. And the opening for the pilot is so small that you're not going to see it. And I just knocked the wheel off again. Something wrong with that wheel. The instrument cluster goes here. Let me get my finger guy. Goes right there. And that's only half of it. The other half's on the other half of the fuselage. So to me, to do $18 is just a waste of money. So what I'm going to do is I'm just basically going to go ahead and prime all of this. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and, yes, I'm going to go ahead and prime the inside of the aircraft on both sides and then paint the cockpit area in a darker gray than the exterior gray. Anyhow, with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of this stuff together so I can get it ready for prime. I want to use the primer once. My biggest problem with this aircraft is going to get this body to fit correctly because right now it's not fitting correctly at all. So with all that being said, let me get going on this and we'll be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, now the fun starts. I want to put this tailpiece on here, and when I put it on here, look at the gap I got right there. So I'm going to try and get rid of that gap, and then also, like I told you earlier, this side here is a lot higher than this side, and I got all the pins lined up. It is glued together right now, so this side here is actually sinking down. Let's see if I can somehow or another get that up there. See if I push that up down there, it'll work. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can sand this down a little bit to get it a little bit straighter. Like right here. This whole entire body, excuse me, is tweaked. So I don't know what it is with these aircraft bodies. Maybe because they're so big, I don't know. Now, let's see. Put that in there. It's getting better. It's getting better. It's a little, at least it's straight now. Before it wasn't even straight. So, this piece right here, you can see it's way lower than here. So I'm going to see if I can push that up from the bottom. Like right here, and see if I can get that to be a little bit better than what it is. Yeah, like right there. If I can get that to stay right there. Alright. Anyhow, I'm going to continue on this and we'll see how it all works out. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a few. Alright, boys and girls, here we are. What you're looking at now is about 3.5 hours worth of labor to get these body halves to fit a lot better than they were actually. And as you can see, I got them perfectly flat with each other. I just have a little bit of sanding to do back here. You can see that little patch right around there. Got to take care of that. Now, I'm going to explain something to you guys. Excuse me for that. I do not believe that if there is a natural joint in a plane or any model, for instance, when I put the nose on here, there's going to be a seam here. I'm not going to patch that seam up because that is a natural seam. So in repairs, they'd be able to pull that nose piece off if they needed to, or flip it up, because some of these are actually on hinges that actually flip up. I shouldn't have filled the seams in here and here, because this would be a way for the mechanics to open this up and get two parts of the inside engine part or whatever. But anyhow, I did it, and I just want to explain my feelings about that, and especially on cars. You guys are I see a lot of guys filling in panels that shouldn't be filled in. Enough on that. Anyhow, we flip this over, and you can see I got rid of that seam on the bottom also. A lot of work on this, let me tell you. a lot of work. And you know, it's funny because I'm looking at the instructions, and I was putting the front landing gear in, and there's this little door on the back. I don't know if you guys, yeah, you can see it right there. And they're saying to put the light on the back side of this, and that doesn't make any sense to me. Wouldn't you want to have the light in the front so you can see where you're going? Or not where you've been? Anyhow, I'm going to call this video good for now. Still a little bit more work to do on this. Next time we get together with my next video, we'll start putting stuff together on this plane, because we will be painting it with Vallejo paints this time. This is white, and this one here is, it says United States Air Force light gray, but it's the same as the navy gray, so I'm going to use that. And I also notice on these paint jobs, no matter what company it is, if it has just the color, it's usually a semi-gloss or a gloss. If it's a flat, it will say flat and the color. Just my experiences so far that I see. Anyhow, yeah. So hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video. And as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. For now, that's all, folks. Gemini scale models out for now.